I recently finished the Proko Drawing Basics course, and I wanted to share a full review with you in case you're on the fence as to whether you should get it or not. As some relevant background information on me and why I chose to do this course, I have a little existing drawing experience coming into this, so I'm not an absolute beginner, but I've always felt like I'm missing some of the basics. I'd like to do more Proko courses, and I wanted some more foundational knowledge that will help me to be more successful in those. I bought this course myself, and I've completed the entire course along with all the projects. I have no affiliation or incentive from Proko to do this. You can see the exact course structure by looking at the webpage for this course. You can also watch some free sample videos of many of the lessons in the course, so you can get a pretty good idea of Stan's instruction style. Each lesson in this course is structured in about the same way. We start with a lecture on a specific topic, and then we have the project description, followed by a demo of Stan doing the full project and a critique of work submitted by students. The lessons are usually quite focused and succinct. He gets to the point and basically gives you the information that you need to get started on the project. There's great information in these lectures to steer you in the right direction, but this is a very project-heavy course, and that's a good thing because you really need to do the drawing yourself to learn this material. Each section in this course is on a primary topic such as lines, shapes, values, etc., and then has multiple projects that focus in on an aspect of that topic. The projects build on each other through the course so that you use what you learned in the previous lessons to inform how you approach the next one. The projects seem well thought out, and he ties the lessons you're learning to drawing subject matter that makes these projects fun. So we don't practice perspective by just drawing boxes. Instead, we practice drawing in arcade, heads, hands, and vehicles in perspective. This helps to make those concepts more concrete by relating those topics to something that you might actually want to draw in the future. It never felt like I was grinding through a lot of exercises just for the sake of it. One of the great things about this course is that it has both a level 1 and a level 2 version of each project. The level 1 is an easier assignment meant for beginners, while the optional level 2 steps it up in difficulty. With a course like this, as is with any online course, one of the most challenging aspects is how to get feedback for your work. You don't have a live instructor that can help you correct and learn from your mistakes. There is a Proko community, and Stan does critiques of the work that was submitted to the community as the course was being created. The course is complete now, so you're not going to have your work featured in one of these critique videos. However, those videos are still super valuable because many people are making the same mistakes. You're very likely to find somebody in his critique video that made the same mistake that you did, and you can learn from that. You of course can still post your drawings for those projects to get feedback from the community, but there's no guarantee that you're going to necessarily get feedback that way. Personally, I approached getting feedback in a slightly different way. I was behind on the lessons through much of the course, and I didn't end up posting any of my drawings to the community. Instead, I tried to get as much as I could out of the demo and critique videos. I paid careful attention to the lecture videos, which are usually relatively short. I had enough information from the project description video that I did the project before watching the demo videos. When given a dozen possible reference photos to choose from, I would often peek ahead at the demo just to see which reference images he used. Then before watching the full demo, I used those same images for the project and struggled through solving it on my own. Then I watched the video of his demo and corrected my drawings based on any obvious mistakes I made. You'll learn so much more by struggling through it on your own and then seeing the demo of how he handles the same problem. I'd also usually do some additional drawings after this if I felt like I still had something to learn. So is this a good course for absolute beginners? My only suggestion is that if you get frustrated when you're drawing, that what you're trying to draw ends up looking nothing like the subject, you may want to start by reading Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards. If you already know how to observe a subject and draw it with even roughly correct proportions, this course is probably good enough on its own. If that still feels a bit shaky, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain may be a useful foundation first. Then I think this course is a great next step to take. There are enough concepts and skills in this course that I think even a seasoned veteran will learn a thing or two going through it. Most intermediate or advanced artists still have areas to improve and gaps in their existing knowledge. I'd consider myself an intermediate artist, and I learned a lot from it. There were some times when the level 2 project seemed incredibly difficult, even for a more intermediate artist. That being said, after struggling a bit on some of them, I still managed to complete them all. I kept track of all of the time that I spent on the projects. and to do all the warm-ups plus level 1 and level 2 projects, I ended up watching about 82 hours of instructional video and doing 158 hours of drawing, for a total of 240 hours to complete the course. To split this down a little further, I spent about 3 hours on warm-up exercises, 88 hours on the level 1 drawings, and 67 hours on level 2 drawings. So if you're a beginner and you only want to do the level 1 projects, you could probably watch those videos and complete those projects in around 160 hours or so. I would say that the time I spent on the projects is a fairly reasonable amount for the average student. In going through the projects, I don't feel like I was being an overachiever, but I didn't skip or rush through any of them. Usually Stan gives you fairly specific instructions on about how much to do. I did enough drawings to feel like I got the concepts, and where drawing any more would feel only marginally beneficial. It took me about a year from start to finish. Part of that was because the course wasn't complete when I started it, and I was waiting for some lessons to be published. That's not the case anymore now that the course is fully published. But don't let the time commitment scare you. If you want to learn this stuff, you're going to need to put in the hours drawing. This course lets you do that in a structured way where you get the most out of the time you spend practicing. I do have a few minor points of criticism or things to just watch out for. There were a couple times where projects were described in a way that just did not initially make sense to me. We had a project where we drew random blobs and then had to create boxes in perspective out of those blobs. And this was one where I just had to go straight to the demo to really grasp at what he was getting at. Later in that section, we started to get an idea of the purpose of this project, but it was a bit confusing initially. Most of the time, the level 1 and level 2 projects work just as intended, where the level 1 is beginner friendly and the level 2 is more advanced. There were a couple times when even the level 1 project felt a little more challenging than I expected at that stage in the course. And there were also times when the level 2 felt a little easier than level 1. There were a few projects where I felt like I had to go elsewhere to find some base knowledge before feeling like I could be successful. For instance, we're given an assignment on gestural architecture where we needed to draw a more complex building. I just didn't know enough about buildings or architecture to do this without doing a fair number of practice sketches and drawings on various buildings to build up this base knowledge in order to complete the exercise. Beyond that, a couple tips I have on how to get the most out of it. I did everything in this course with traditional media, and for me it's a nice break from being on a screen so much. I'd recommend doing it with traditional media if you can. You establish a different relationship with how you think about making marks when there's no undo available. There's also some valuable muscle memory in laying down marks and values using an actual pencil. And there's something very satisfying about filling a sketchbook with your drawings from the course. The concepts you learn in here will transfer over to digital very easily if you're set on being a digital artist. And a tip on the level 2 projects. I would suggest that you try the level 2 projects even if it seems like you're not ready. I had multiple times where I thought there was no way I was going to be able to do it, and I spent hours on it that felt a bit fruitless. Then I slept on it, and I tried again the next day and was able to complete it successfully. The worst that happens is you end up with a drawing you don't necessarily like, but you'll also be able to look back as you get better and see just how far you've come. So what's the overall verdict? At the beginning of this course, I said that I wanted to brush up on the basics and feel more prepared going into some more advanced classes. I feel like this course accomplished both of those for me. If you want to learn drawing fundamentals, it's quite amazing what you're getting for the price here. You're not going to get into this much depth in any in-person course you take. I counted 26 different projects, and around 50 if you count the different level 1 and level 2 variations. Oftentimes, people are considering between doing this or something like Drawbox. I've gone through lessons 0 through 2 on Drawbox, including the 250 box challenge, but I haven't completed the whole thing yet. I think it's an amazing resource for free at that. However, I think you're probably going to have more fun doing the projects in this course and be more likely to stick with it. I see these two courses complementing each other versus competing with each other. Stan is a great teacher. I've had many different art teachers over the years, and he is one of the best that you'll find for teaching this type of material. I don't know your financial situation, but my verdict is that this is a great value for the cost. If you can't afford the full price, Proko does have occasional sales, such as the Black Friday sale that they do every year where you can get 20% off. I also really like that Proko's courses are not subscription-based. I can purchase a course and complete it on my own time without making monthly payments. Even if I was paying only $20 a month and it took me a year to complete this, I'd have spent more than I paid for this course. That wraps up my review of the course. I hope you found it helpful. Subscribe if you want to see more like this and follow along with where we go next.